Political analyst John Dadian is here. John, the really fun, sexy stuff, it's all about the candidates. These props can get a little cumbersome at times and tough to sort out, but somebody's got to do it.
Oh, as always, there's a lot on the ballot, and they're very confusing, and we have several that are competing against each other, so absolutely average voters are confused.
Well, we'll talk about the ones that are competing against each other in just a second, because that's very interesting. But let's start with the most obvious one, I think on the state ballot anyway, and Linda will handle later on the local issues.
Okay.
Prop 19, legalizing marijuana.
What do you want to know, the buzz on Prop 19?
Is it as straightforward as it appears, or are there all kinds of unintended consequences here and other considerations that people need to make before they cast their ballot?
You didn't pick up on my pun, the buzz.
Well, no, I didn't, as a matter of fact. I'm sorry.
Clearly, most law enforcement is against this, and all the organizations against this. It's very interesting. The biggest aspect of this is, even if it passes by even a large majority, and right now the polls show that it's going to fail, and that's a turnaround recently, but even if it passes, it's against federal law. And so that's all kinds of implications. The rumors are the federal government is ready to step in with a lawsuit that week after it passes. But also, does that jeopardize federal funding for the state?
Again, another perhaps unintended consequence.
Absolutely.
Okay, so just think about that, folks. Think about some of the bigger issues as we're going through some of these propositions. The ones that are opposing, this is interesting. Prop 20 and 27 are at odds with one another. Explain that. What's Prop 20, first off? Well,
actually, I have to go back, and 2 years ago, an initiative was passed that formed a Citizens Redistricting Commission, because normally it's done by state legislature. So that's already passed, and that's starting to go into effect. What Prop 20 would do is it would add the congressional districts to the Assembly Senate districts to be redistricted. So that's what Prop 20 does. 27 would wipe out the original commission from 2 years ago.
So if you want the politicians to continue to be in control of redistricting, you would want to wipe out the commission that's been set up. You'd vote yes on 27?
Correct. Okay. That's absolutely correct.
So you'd vote yes on 27 if you think the politicians are better suited to set up the district boundaries.
And again, I would argue that the people already spoke 2 years ago on that aspect.
So if you vote yes on 20, then you are reinforcing that?
You're adding to that.
Adding to that.
Right now, the way it is that this new commission that's being formed as we speak redistricts as Assembly and Senate district. Congressional districts weren't in the original initiative, so this would just basically redo that and add that to it.
Okay. Let's go on to Proposition 22. This is really interesting. State borrowing. What is this one all about? What does this mean for folks?
Well, again, and I have a background in local government. It's always been, the bane of local government that they can, try to manage even their finances well. We've seen some cities that don't manage their finances well. Even local municipalities that do, all of a sudden the state comes in and raids different type of funds, et cetera. This would put restrictions on certain things that that would not be able to done. The most interesting quote I heard about this just yesterday, there was a coalition of all our local incorporated cities that held a press conference. La Mesa Mayor Art Madrid, when he was asked a question about whether or not there would still be loopholes, could the state still do it, his response was, well, hopefully this will prevent them from doing it. And then he said the word